at a festival like Shrewsbury, which is probably, it is actually probably one of the better folk festivals in Europe, I reckon anyway, you do bump into some quite dodgy characters, and one of these is Terry Walden, who is emceeing today. He's a bit of a man of many hats, one of which, he runs a folk club over in Bury St Edmunds in East Anglia, and he does a lot of work with learning
disabilities. Yeah.
And I think that's it's something where folk is really taking a good stance in development and helping people. So just tell me a bit about that.
Well, basically, we originally started as a folk club many years ago, and in my proper jobs, I've been working with people with disabilities, and in the past I've had businesses of my own, and I decided how can I put all these skills of mine together, and I thought of starting up a social enterprise involving or having people with learning disabilities and other disabilities access folk music, dance, and folk arts in general. So I started the Milkmaid Folk Arts Centre, CIC, Community Interest Company. We're a centre without a centre at the moment, but we're working towards that. We do a lot of outreach stuff. So the folk club originally sort of helped fund the start of it all, but since then I've now moved on to having a folk club for people with disabilities called the Milkmaid Thursday Club. We've started, in January we started a dance side called Milkmaid Molly, which are principally with people with learning disabilities. And we've been invited by Damien Barber, who's coming to Bury St Edmunds at the Apex in October. We're going to be the first side to dance on their set of, it's now called It's a Lock-In. It was Time Gentlemen Please. Yeah. They've changed the name to It's a Lock-In. So they're going to be the first dance side to dance on it, which is fantastic for us. In the meantime, we bring performers into residential homes for elderly people to access a concert where they're either too frail or frightened to go out in the evening to go to a concert themselves, So on top of that, we bring performers to schools in Suffolk. We've just recently had Pete Coe give workshops in 3 schools, which has been great. We have a fantastic new music centre in Bury St Edmunds called the Apex, and I'm fortunate enough to have a partnership with them where I book all their top folk acts, and once all the expenses and the fees and such like have been paid, we split what's left 50-50, which comes to the Milkmaid, which is great, which has helped us to pay for some of this stuff that we're doing,
I was going to say, it doesn't come cheap, does it?
It doesn't come cheap, no. We've got, it doesn't come cheap, and at the moment we have actually just taken on an office in Bury. I'm a volunteer, we're all volunteers that run it. There's me and 3 other directors, plus an army of volunteers, which keeps the whole thing working. But we do need, I go for grants. We've had money from awards for all, from the local lottery people. We have donations and such like to go. But we need about 15 or 16 grand a year to keep us going. Which we're getting that at the minute, but we want more, because we've just negotiated with the railway company that own Bury St Edmunds railway station. We're going to hopefully have some buildings there. We're going to turn into a centre. It's going to cost us $250,000 to refurbish it, but subject to them accepting the plans that we're going to put in, we should be able to go ahead and get that, but it'll take 2 years to get the money. So, and then we'll have a day centre for people with disabilities to access the folk arts. The evening will be for the community in general. We'll bring the folk club there. We'll do other things. We want to do a lot of ethnic. We've got a lot of ethnic workers, migrant workers in Suffolk. So we want to access their folk traditions, folk music, etc. and so on, and world music, of course. You know, so yeah, there's a lot going on. And I just spoke to Phil Beer this morning, and he's agreed to be our second patron.
Oh, brilliant!
John Remborn's our first patron, so we'll have John and Phil Beer as. Would be great, yeah.
I think you're one of the unsung heroes of folk music, and I think, you know, that it shows what you can really do if you take the bull by the horns and put some work in.
I think when I'm fortunate in my life. I've had a lot of, you know, we call it life experience. I've had businesses. I'm qualified to run all sorts of centres with people with disabilities and such like. Folk music is my life and love. So I've just put those three things together, you know, and come up with this, which is great, you know. I am a driving force, I guess. I upset a few people sometimes because I keep on and on and on. And in the end, they give up and say, "Oh, sod it, here's the money." Here's the money, you know.
Well, yeah, but that's what you have to do. You have to do that these days, yeah. And especially in these, you know, economic times, that you can push something like that through. I think is, you know, really amazing.
The Bury St Edmunds mayor once said to me, "You're very tenacious," but you got to do that.
Whilst walking away from it.
Yeah. And I have to say, I mean, to the Thursday Club, which is the club with disabilities, we bring in professional performers. You know, we got Nancy and James coming to the next one.
Yeah. That's good.
And we've had all sorts of people. In fact, it was the Delaire brothers were the first people from Morecambe, were the first people to play at the club. So, you know. We are bringing top performers in to play for these guys because you mustn't patronise people. You've got to, you know, it's easy to bring old Fred, who plays guitar down the road, in to play a few things, but we don't want to do that. We want for them to access the proper stuff, you know, which is what happening.
I think you're setting a great example, and you know, in that funding you may be able to get a new hat out of it, and everything's sorted.
Yeah, it might do. Yeah, I mean, actually, this hat was black, but you know, at Shrewsbury we get all these little spiders. And I was emceeing on stage 2 Friday, and unfortunately I got covered with spiders. That's what
Shrewsbury, it's this side of the country,
yeah.
He's a lovely man.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you.